Witches.
Hi, hello, and welcome back to the Gloom Between Stars, Part 3.
Part 3.
Part 3.
Chapter 13. Um,
It's been a bit, so.
it has been a minute since I read this, yes. So, but the first things first that I said, we've got Nox, and she's talking to Amara. So Amara's shows up basically in, she shows up to Nox's room. And as she's going in, Yaslin is coming out. And Nox is just chilling naked on her bed. And Amaris is like, should I come back later? Like, did you want to put some clothes on? And Nox is like, meh, what do you want? And Nox is like, I really need some understanding right now. I need some time.
Need
Like,
space. I need
a minute. And Amaris is not even kind of being understanding, or which I understand to a certain extent because she finally tries to be vulnerable, and Nox is like, I need space because I don't know what the fuck you are. And I get it, but also like Amaris doubles down on her childish ass shit.
I do quite enjoy seeing her fight for it, though.
I do too, but I'm over her. I'm done with her.
I'm over
She
her,
can
but I
go.
feel like this is the retribution I was, like, yearning for. It's like, oh, so you're just supposed to, like, do your own little thing, be your own little person in your own little life, and, like, not a care in the world, not a worry. Like, hey, can we go back here? Like, you allowed me to be a fighter. I think this one would be a great fighter. Like, you didn't even try to advocate for her. You're just like, no, I'm gonna go be with my brothers. I'm gonna go do my life. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And like you could have at least attempted to go see her, like go see her, go do
Visit
something with your
something.
life. Yeah. And you never did, but she had never, like, Nox never once stopped to think about anything else other than fighting for you to bring you back or to do something to bring you guys together. And it's amazing because I'm like,
Yeah.
now you got to fight for it. Like,
Yeah,
you got to
that's
prove to
fair.
her. And it's
But
great
also,
because
like, I
she
don't
gives up
want her
so
to prove
easily.
it because I just want her to fucking go away.
Yeah, I don't want her to prove it at all either. I just I want no character development from her because I'm over her.
Same.
But it's
She,
just like, heh.
yeah, well, yeah, and she really irritates me. So on page 150, she's like, um, she hits another really low blow because that's who she fucking is. She says, "You're having a good day because you just fucked someone. That's great, Knox. I suppose it would make someone like you feel better. Do you want to hear what I learned from Ash? Apparently, the person I've known my entire life is a succubus. Not just any succubus, a powerful, dangerous one at that. Do you want to explain how you kept this from me? But bitch, she tried to talk to you about all of this at the townhouse before this book even fucking started. Like, she tried to talk to you about all of this.
Yeah.
And you were like, no, let's just lay here and be together. Let's just cuddle. You didn't want to
We
talk
have
about
all
it.
the time in the world.
Right. And she didn't even know that she was a succubus until after you
Y'all
left.
departed. Yeah.
Yeah, like you fucking ditched her. You commanded her with your persuasion to stay where she was, and then you left her and never looked back. And then when you finally did see her again, you didn't give her the chance to talk to you. How was she supposed to fucking tell you? I can't. I'm so irritated. And then they kind of go back and forth. But on page 153, what was I talking about? Oh, Mamaris finally says something that I can respect because they're going back and forth again about how do we really love each other, or do we only love each other because of the prayer.
Prayer.
Um, and so Amaris finally on page 153 says, I guess the only way for us to know if it's really love will be after I break the curse. And that's the first time that I've ever respected anything that Amaris says. Because, yeah, okay, great. So then you're going to walk away right now. You're going to give her space and you're going to focus on breaking the curse and not be a childish little twat. And we'll see how it goes. Like, ugh, I don't know. She pisses me off. Um,
It's just frustrating because she goes in to essentially apologize and then she just doubles down.
yeah. And not only doubles down, but like brings up yet another insult. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
And Knox is like, okay, and you made it perfectly clear what you think about me. And then she's like, no, I tried to do this. And it's like, is that it? Is
Really?
that all you've done?
Because you also just said people like me. So what is that? What does that mean?
Yeah. And then she's like sitting there like, it's not fair,
Fuck
honey.
you. Like, life isn't fair, first of all. But also, if you look at your life and the life you've led since leaving the orphanage, and you look at Knox's life and the life she's led, I think there's a clear discrepancy here. Like, what? Which one would you choose?
Yeah. And then my favorite part of it all, though, is she's just like, yeah, and you know what? I never once said that it was your fault for
Right.
me. I never
No.
once said anything, like, I never once let you take the fall for my fate. And
And
here
she's
you are
never blamed
saying,
her and never
yeah.
anything. But then you're going to come around here and be a fucking bitch about it? Okay.
And
Because,
that's why I'm fucking the guard.
right. Okay. And then
I be
the
fucking
rest,
that lieutenant because yo bitch ass.
honestly, though, fucking bitch. But then Nox spends the rest of the chapter drinking herself away, which is very fair.
It is what
Very
it
fair.
is, right?
It is. And then chapter 14,
Yeah.
she is hungover. And Malik comes with tea and muffins.
And it's so sad too because how she's feeling about Maris with the prayer is essentially how she's feeling about Malik because like Malik truly like cares for
Yeah.
her.
But she's
And
like, do you, or is it just my magic?
right. And it's like Ash is part Fae and he's kind of keeping like, you know, Switzerland about it all. But he's never once been caring towards her. Not necessarily in like a romantic way, just like, hey, are you okay? Like, here, have some food. Something along these lines. Like,
Yeah.
so then while she's drinking herself, she sits there and she's like, is Malik, does he like me because of whatever is going on with me?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then,
it's just
so she's
terrible.
not talking at all
Mm-mm.
to him. Well, she says, everyone in the castle knows what I am, so it seems like a good time to inform you. Succubi are allergic to daylight. And that's basically all she says. And he's like, do you want to talk? And then he says, do you want me to get a Mars? And she's like, absolutely not. Because he just wants to help, right? And then she's finally
Yeah.
like, I want to talk to Ash. And Malik's like, what?
Who?
Okay.
Are you
That
sure about
seems
that?
like a weird request, but all right, I guess.
I
But
do agree with why.
I do too. It makes so much sense. He is part Fae. He's not Rascot Fae, so he doesn't have that allegiance to her as like a monarch. And he's not under her spell. So he's the only truly objective person there that she can talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I like their friendship. Like he
It's like that
doesn't,
hard friend. It's not something that
yeah,
babies her, but it's not somebody who's like, "Oh, it's gonna be okay." Like
yeah,
that sunshine and roses. It's like, okay, I appreciate the sunshine and roses every now and then, but sometimes I need the cold hard truth because that's how I'm going to grow as a person. That's how I'm going to make the best informed decisions. And
yeah,
if I just think everything's going to be okay, like
yeah,
I that's not giving me advice. That's just consoling me, but you're
yeah,
also not letting me grow.
exactly. So he basically calls her ungrateful because she has the opportunity to change the whole continent. Like,
Mhm.
she can run, sure, she's the heir to the North and the South, and she can change that. She can change people's lives. And
I wasn't
so he kind of,
necessarily a go ahead.
I should say, he kind of like, it's kind of like a slap in the face, like, hey, like, get over yourself and think about what you could do.
Think about the positives.
Yeah.
I am not happy with his little like I would love it if somebody had like a star destined lover for me and like I would love it that that was my best friend from childhood. Like this is great. This is blah 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 blah. I get it.
Yeah.
That'd be great. It's great cuz that's your fated mate, but my fated mate is being kind of a fucking bitch.
She really is.
So like she needs to twinkle up her her tots. Twinkle up her twat and fucking apologize first. Okay? Reese Poo and Nesta had to apologize to their fated mates at some point in time for
Yeah.
various fucking things. Amaris needs to do the same. Thank you.
At this point, she needs to fucking grovel, but that's a whole other conversation. Um, so one of my favorite sayings, or I really got it from a meme, honestly, but it's the one that says, "Are you gonna cry about it or are you gonna boss up?" And then it says, "First of all, I'm gonna do both." And that's what Knox does from
I'm gonna cry
pages,
while I boss up.
right, from pages like 163 to 164. She wallows a little bit, she takes a bath, she does all this, but then she gets up, she goes to dinner, and she's like, okay, what do we do next? And she's like, let's do this. And she gets back to herself. Um,
Thank you, Ash.
yeah. And then page 165. Why did I write that? Oh, she says, I wrote yes, Knox, because he says, how do you think justice would be best served, talking about Tanith, which is the other Fae who wants magical purity or whatever.
The
And she's
Puritan.
like, yeah. She's like, what I want is unrealistic. And Malak's like, give it a shot. You can be very persuasive. And she says, I don't want to insult the deceased by leaving the war criminal unpunished, but more importantly, I don't want to be the queen who lets it happen again. I don't know that justice would be served if we eliminate her until we truly understand whether we're protected against Soulgrave. So basically, she's like, we need to use her. We can't just kill her because then we're killing our only source of information. And I was like, yes.
That is a boss ass move. At least things are starting to get better. I mean, like things are kind of amicable with everybody. I know there's still some tension
Yeah.
between Amaris and her, but like they could shoo it away for the night, right?
Yeah. And basically, the rest of this chapter is they have the rest of their dinner and everything. And then there's like some really creepy flirting between Amaris and Gadriel.
It's kind of like
It's really creepy. All I wrote was ew.
it's honestly so like the entire flirting part of it is like them talking to each other about like what happens under the moonlight. Like what's this or what's that?
Yeah.
Um how would we do that? Like because he made a question or he made a joke about how she's some gift to the world, or what is it?
She's a goddess, I think. Or she should be
Yeah,
worshipped. Oh yeah. Would you call me goddess?
yeah. Um, because he's like, I would like to be the first to place my prayers and offerings. Would you prefer goat sacrifices or naked dances under the moonlight? And that's what started the flirting, and like they're going back and forth with this like weird talk. Would you
Ugh.
would you do this? Yeah, I would do that all night long. Okay, well, would you do this? Yeah, yeah, I would definitely do that. What?
It's a lot of innuendo and it's really gross.
It's 3 pages worth. Um, but here's the thing. He stays behind to speak to her because she has refused to speak to him.
I forgot he called her a good girl. Ugh. Ugh.
Until you read the last page.
Ugh.
um, but here's the thing though. She didn't want to talk to him at all, and then he makes one comment to prompt flirting, and then for 3 pages we're reading about them flirting, and then all of a sudden it feels like they're both gonna go up to the bedroom and have sex. Like that's what it is leading up to, with all of these I'll worship you under the moonlight, naked dances, all worshipers have to be naked too, like all these things. And then he just looks at her, passes her water, and says, be a good girl and drink your water.
And takes her
And then
wine
he
glass
just
away.
leaves. Then he just leaves.
Yeah.
I don't know
He
what
said, it's
that
just you
is.
and your hand tonight.
Pink came in there and said, look.
Like, what the fuck?
I was like, so all of that talk for him to just leave her, that's like basically saying, like, he just ghosted that bitch.
Yeah, and this goes on
Like,
for like the next couple of chapters too. Like
it's like,
it's
okay, hold up, hold
creepy
up,
and
hold up. That's
gross.
a red fucking flag if he's gonna sit here and talk to you, get you all worked up, despite the fact that you're on wine. Like, you're coherent enough to make these choices for yourself. It's not like
Yeah.
you're completely and utterly zonked out of your mind. And he's just like, yeah, be a good girl and drink your water. Okay, dad, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was really creepy. The whole exchange was creepy and I didn't like it. It made me feel dirty.
If you're gonna use the word good girl, like, do something dirty with it. Don't say and drink your water. Because I mean, I feel like I would be talking to like a 2-year-old. Oh, be a
It
good girl and drink your water.
really grossed me out, the whole exchange. And that's how we end chapter 14.
But luckily, we start up with Yaslin in chapter 15, so that's fine.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Um so yeah, the beginning of chapter 15, we're back in or we're with Yaslin.
Yeah, they're going down to the dungeons to speak to Tanith.
Yeah. So Yaslin and Amaris go down to speak to her, and they're like basically making her comfortable, and Amaris is trying to like kind of build a relationship with her, honestly, to
Mm-hmm.
get her to trust them. Um and she starts to get some information. Um so on page 176, she's talking about um she basically makes a deal with Janice. She's like, tell me of your mission on the continent, and for every satisfactory bit of information, we'll add a book to your cell. So, um, she starts telling them, or they start asking her questions. Mara's like, who sent you? And she's like, I was not sent, I was called. And Yaslin's like, then who called you? Like, did you go through this whole thing? And we basically find out she's a religious zealot. Like, she's coming to kill people, I guess. Like it's just,
Yeah.
it's kind of
She's got
wild.
the
But the big thing that we learned is that there were 5 of them that were called.
yeah, so there's 5 more to look like to find.
Yeah.
And it's not like the queen brought them, it's a Puritan look on things. And they're saying that it's all about the All Mother. So I wonder
Yeah.
if this is more of like a cult based, like one person is like not pretending, but like saying that they're this like it's like the Marilyn Manson um murders. Like he said that he is the reincarnation or whatever of Jesus and God, and this is what he's like wanting. I mean, I know there were drugs involved, but like
Yeah.
I wonder if it's
Yeah.
something similar to that instead of saying like the true teachings of whatever of the All Mother. My thing is though is that Gad's parents went to Solgrave.
Yeah.
So it's like what were their beliefs prior to that? Did they
Right.
have some belief system with the All Mother? Were they necessarily religious? Were they not religious? Like, are they even alive if they like believe in Puritans? I mean, I believe that they are Puritans, not Puritans, but like they're pure Fae, but
Right.
they are from Rascot, which is an intermingled location.
Well, and she does talk about like the speaker who is the all mother made flesh. And so like it does sound very much like a cult.
So then that
Um,
makes me wonder: are the Zealots like a small part of Solgrave?
maybe. Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't be everyone in Solgrave because I feel like they would have known about them if that were the case. Because they know a little bit about Solgrave.
I think they don't. I don't think they know much about Solgrave. I think they just know that it's a perilous journey to get to Solgrave
Right.
because of the cold, which yeah, that sucks. But I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
really didn't write much else for this chapter. Um,
I wrote on 182, the very last page. Um, she basically said, so she's talking to Amaris is talking to Yaz. Um, well, I guess it's vice versa. So like Yaz is trying to say like she's trying to be the bigger person and apologize for everything that's going on. Um, and she is not necessarily a fan of it despite everything. Um, she just wasn't, I guess, happy with anything right then and there. And she had a lot to talk like to think about after everything that Tanith has said to her. Um, and during like dinner or something like that, everyone's talking. And she's saying that the sun rose and the sun set, the days wore on. They learned a little more from Tanith each day. Amaris ate, trained, and slept, but she did not feel whole. And I was like, because you're being a fucking bitch to everybody.
yeah, like get over yourself.
Your
It is not all
attitude,
about you.
yeah, your
Ugh.
attitude towards everybody, Yaslin included. I understand shit went south, but the dude that killed your
Yeah.
father is fucking dead.
Yeah.
So, like,
It's, I only
everything's
so
done.
yeah, and that's the end of chapter 15. And for chapter 16, I only wrote
I
2 things.
I couldn't. I was like, damn.
I
All I
it
actually
was a
all I
good
said was
chapter,
Jesus.
but all I wrote was first of all, I'm here for the enemies to lovers arc. This one, I'm here for it. And I want them to be endgame so badly.
Yeah.
I really want them to be.
All I said was Jesus. Like, you know that like little kid that like backs away, like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yes.
That was my reaction to this. I was like Pikachu facing it all the time, like, oh.
Yeah, so basically, they're in, where are they at?
Sh- uh,
They're in the kitchen, right?
Nox can't sleep, so she went to the kitchen to get a drink.
Yeah, and Yaslin happens to be there too. Um, and then, um, yeah,
Um,
Yaslin goes down on her, and
it's
then
so funny though
she
because it's
walks
like
away without reciprocating.
it's it's so funny. It's so funny though because she's sitting here talking about the castle. Nox is sitting there talking about the castle, and Nox just wants to be alone. And she's like, I needed a drink. You can get whatever you need and go. And Yaslin's like, you don't own the castle. Nox is like, I do actually.
Yeah, like, don't I though?
I'm the queen. Like,
Yeah.
fuck you. I still have the title. I still own this place. And Yaz is like, have you always been this arrogant, or does the monarchy just look cold on you? Are you sharing that wine? Because that's exactly why she needed the drink. And they're like, she's just kind of like staring at her and goes, your general, your demigoddess, your queen. Is there no one you speak to respectfully? Get your own. And they end up sharing it. And she's like, oh, so generous. So, or no, she's like, so selfish. And Nox is like, uh, oh, okay. You know exactly how generous I can be. And I was like, she
Mm,
does, though.
mm, here we
She does
go.
have more than one engagement.
So yeah, then once Nox finishes, she gets up, um, and walks away, and Yasmin's like, "Hey," she's like, "I'm selfish, remember?"
Yeah, because, yep, right after that, they were like, okay. And it's so funny. She's like, I don't know if I hate walnuts and blackberries or love it. And she's like, good. I hope you get wet. All right, let me finish this for you.
Yeah, and that's all that happens in chapter 16.
Yeah.
It was a good chapter though. Good chapter.
And it's great. She's like, that's queen bitch to you.
Yeah, because she calls her a stone cold bitch. That's queen bitch to you.
And then she
Yeah,
just blows a kiss,
and walks away.
specifically to her middle finger.
Yep.
Mwah. Fuck you. And I was like, Jesus.
Yeah,
I love that.
it was great.
That's some fiery that's some fiery talk. That's
Yeah.
the what is it? The fuck, what is it called? It's the banter. It's the banter I'm looking for.
Yes. Yes.
It's like you're assholes to each other, but like secretly you love it. It's that masochism. Right? Mas Yeah. No.
Yeah. Masochism?
Is it
You
that or
mean like
sadism?
torturing yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like those two words could be interchangeable depending on where it's coming from.
Depending on the situation, for sure.
Alright, I'm gonna look that up.
So then
Continue with that.
we go on into chapter 17. And I briefly forget what book we're reading because multiple times they're referred to as the inner circle.
Yo, I saw that and I was like, excuse the fuck out of me?
Yeah, and I was like, what book is what book is this? What's happening? Because the fuck? But basically what's happening is they are doing a lot of meetings and planning and trying to figure out what to do. And then
Oh.
there's um
It's called
a,
sadomasochism.
oh, you combine the words then. We don't interchange them, we combine them.
So masochism is deriving pleasure from receiving pain or humiliation. It's often used in like sexual situations, but it can be obviously in other ways too. Sadism is inflicting that pain. So but if you are essentially both, which I feel like a lot of people are, um, it's sadomasochism.
Okay.
So, all
Interesting.
right. Yeah. I honestly thought Yaz was the younger soldier from Sakai's story. The
I did
very like
too. Yeah.
eager beaver person. I feel like she's gonna possibly come back, maybe. Um, but Yaz is definitely the person that Zakai and Gadriel, well, not Gadriel, Gadriel knew she was there, but like Zakai had met in the tavern when he was like, hey, let's have a cold one. Oh, shit, these are lukewarm. Hold on, I got a lieutenant for that.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
but for the absence of Bree, during the absence of Bree, Bry, something, Bree,
I don't know. I called her Brie in my head.
for the absence of her, that's when, um, she popped out of nowhere.
Yeah. Um so then Amaris is like walking through the castle, I guess. Um and she is walking by Tanith's room and hears two voices. So naturally, she stops to eavesdrop. And like, come on, Amaris. Like, I would say you're better than that, but you're really not. So I guess go on, go ahead, but um she basically Yaslin is in there talking to Tanith because she doesn't have anyone to talk to. Um
About Nox specifically.
yeah, specifically about Nox. And Amaris is just sitting there um eavesdropping basically for a hot minute, and then Yaslin comes out and Amaris is still basically there. I mean, she starts walking down the hallway, but Yaslin
It's
still
like
catches
she's
her.
pretending like she never heard it.
She's like, "Oh, hi." Um and then they have this really fucking awkward conversation. Um
Yeah. I was just heading for some hot chocolate. Do you want to join?
yeah, it's just really really awkward. And then Amaris finally basically apologizes and tells Yaslin that she doesn't hate her.
And honestly, I like Yaz, so I'm excited to see like the vulnerability from her. Not necessarily I'm excited to see her like sad, but to see more
Yeah.
sides.
The only thing I
Um
don't like about this situation is I don't want Amaris and Yaslin to be friends. I want Amaris to go away. And I want Yaslin and Nox to be together. But I feel a throuple coming on. And I'm not excited about it. Yeah, exactly.
No, 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 no. Okay. You're like thruple and I was like, ew. Like and it hit me. That is a fucking possibility.
It is. They literally describe her as a polyamorous succubus. in the Goodreads.
Yeah. And every single time that Piper CJ has like posted about her books on Instagram, TikTok, or whatever, especially with like the most recent like election that has happened in America,
Yep. She calls
she's
her
like
polyamorous.
yeah, she like pops up all of these books that would probably be banned under the new administration. She goes, "How about a polyamorous succubus who da 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 to go all of these things?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're right though. I mean,
Yeah.
polyamorous by choice, or no one would know unless you read it." But I had a dark fucking thought, and then I like realized what I had thought, and I was like, "Oh no." I was like, wait, what if Amaris and Gadriel become a thing? And then what if Amaris, Gadriel, those two, Yaslin and like Nox, and then like somehow Malik gets involved. And I
No.
was like, oh no 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 no, they're family, they can't do that.
No. No.
Malik and Amaris can do it because they're siblings, basically, is what she continuously calls them.
Yeah.
And Gadriel is literally the cousin of
Yeah.
the second cousin.
Yeah, I'm not down. I'm not here for that
I
combination.
was like, ugh. And I really want to go back to past Emily as she was reading this and be like, do you really want this? I think you should stop what you're saying. I think you need to stop right there. Whenever I was like, man, Nox is more up Gadriel's alley.
Yeah. However, they're related, so that doesn't work.
Yep, that kind of threw that out of the, fucking window. But
Yeah, I did.
that's neither here nor there.
It's not.
So that's all I had. I am appreciating the depth of all
Yeah.
these characters
Yeah, and
and
that at
how,
the end of chapter 17 also ends part 2 of the book.
yeah,
It's episode 3 for us, but it's part 2 of the book. So,
yeah. So, and then next time, part 3, The Weight of Becoming.
yes.
Yay. Until next time.
Bye.